Hello, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Today I'm going to give you a tour of my 2007 Airstream Basecamp. Airstream manufactured a Basecamp from 2007, 2008, and 2009. There's roughly 220 of these made. Trailer is 16 foot 2 inches. That's from the center of the ball to the very, very back of the trailer. And exterior width is 7 foot 2 inches. The interior width is 6 foot 4. And the interior height is 6 foot 1. This gross vehicle weight rating of 2,500 pounds. And it has an 18-inch ball height. The ball is a 2-inch. There's lots of accessories you get for the Airstream Basecamp back in 2007. Deluxe rims, roof fan, TV antenna, radio, television, speakers, stabilizer jacks, Kelty tent. There's actually a tent that assembles off the back that almost doubles the size of the trailer. AGM battery. There's Kelty storage bins inside that were optional. Kelty closet. Single burner cooktop. 5-gallon water tank. These were all options back then. Even this roof tubes were an option. So today I'm going to go through the features of the Basecamp and some of the modifications that we did to the Basecamp for the use that mountain biking and just overnight camping. So join me. Okay, so 2 5/16 inch ball. I'm sorry, 2-inch ball, not 2 5/16 inch. This trailer does not support a weight distribution kit. This is the coupler. Once you bring the ball under, this will lock all the way down. You have 11,000 pound safety chains. Has a jockey wheel. Standard 7-way trailer plug. This does have electric brakes, so I recommend getting an electric brake controller in your tow vehicle. Manual jack to raise and lower the trailer. And it's extremely important with the Airstream Basecamp to keep it as level as possible when parked. The air conditioning, which was optional, is stored in here. If you have it crooked, it is a possibility that the pan can fill up and not drain out properly, and then it would drain inside through the vents of the air conditioning. So keep in mind, you want to keep that level. Under here, there's 2 latches on either side to keep this lid shut. You have a 20-pound propane cylinder. It's a custom cylinder with a handle and a rack on the top. This should last you a whole entire season. And a brand new regulator. There's a T on the high pressure side. This is the high pressure coming from the tank. Goes through the regulator to the low pressure for the cooktop. But there's a T here for the heater, the buddy heater that's inside. There's also wheel chocks on this side so it doesn't roll away. You have to be careful because it does have a jockey wheel that could potentially roll if you don't have the wheels chocked. Underneath the trailer, we have a connection here, a quick disconnection. There's a hose inside the trailer that you can hook up a little portable grill to. It passed the RVIA compliance with electrical, plumbing, heating, and fire safety. LED marker lights, Airstream emblem. The superstructure, or the skull of the trailer, is fiberglass. And what Airstream did was they clad aluminum to the exterior as well as the interior. This piece here is fiberglass. A lot of people sand them down and paint them to match their tow vehicle. These are brand new tires I replaced a year ago. They're P275 45 R20s. These are the deluxe rim upgrade. Behind it is the brake drum. It's very important to check your tire pressure before traveling as well as your lug nut torque. Beautiful Airstream Basecamp medallion. Another LED running light. Big cast aluminum rear hinges. LED taillight bezels. Underneath in the back, you can see the rear stabilizer jacks. Basically all they do is they kick down and then you unlock it and push it down to the ground, and then you raise your tongue jack a little bit to put some pressure on them. There's one here, there's one on the other side. Recommend waxing it once a year with vulcanized wax. This was done in November. Has a 30 amp, 125 volt Marine Co. twist lock power cord that's included. There's also a power cord adapter so you can plug it into a residential outlet. With that, you could run the air conditioning, but I wouldn't recommend putting too many other appliances on. This right here is an outside electrical outlet, so once you're plugged in, you'll have electricity here. There's your notice for checking the wheel lugs. We have here the VIN plate with production information. 75 PSI is your recommended tire pressure. And number 202009. So this is 009. This is the 9th Basecamp built. Underneath, there's a 1-year-old AGM Group 24 Series Lifeline battery and a battery box. And there's a bubble level. I wouldn't rely on that. I'd put a carpenter's level on the floor inside. Okay, I'm gonna rub this so you can see up top. Up top, you got a roof fan. You can see a 100-watt solar panel. It's a ZAMP solar panel. And the big skylight. The roof is all fiberglass and it could be painted whatever color you'd like. Give it a unique characteristic. The Basecamp alone in itself is a very unique vehicle, but you can dress it up. You can paint these taillight bezels too. Okay, the entry door. Just twist the lock here. Undoes the handle. What it has is a rod on the top and a rod on the bottom. You definitely want to make sure you engage these before you ever tow the trailer. On the inside here, we have another handle. Twist, unlocks it. This strap here prevents it from swinging around too far. There's little pockets in the back door. This is all ABS plastic. Fire extinguisher on this side, another pocket here. On a windy day, you want to use these little prop rods that come with it. There's a hole here. What you do is you put it in the door first, swing it over, and lock it in place. There's one also for this side. Put it in the door first, swing it around, and lock it in place. The Kelty tent that's included, I just had it out a couple days. It's in excellent condition. You assemble the tent first and you slide it up to the Basecamp, and it sits in this groove in the roof. You have to do it and slide it over when the stairs are up, so it goes underneath the stairs. Then you could drop the stairs down. Stairs have little treads built into them. This is wide enough, once you fold all the furniture away, that you could ride a quad inside, and you could actually put ramps here, motorcycle ramps. On the side here, I upgraded the lighting to LED. They were halogen. They also added a dimmer switch. There's 2 speakers in the rear. And this is called gear poles. These are gear poles. This is the gear pole storage. So what it is, it's made by Kelty. These are limited edition Basecamp only. Not every Basecamp had these, so these are extremely rare. There's people that will pay big money for the Kelty tent as well as some of the accessories here. These shelves are all Velcroed in. So you can fold your laundry, put it all in here, have some of your clothes ready for the next day. And then what this does, it just straps into the gear pole here. This is for the CO2 detector, which I have underneath the galley. I upgraded because I do a lot of mountain biking, and I wanted to make sure I was secure just in case someone broke in, so I put a safe here. So you can put a watch, your wallet inside here, and it's secure enough that it would take them quite a bit of time to take these bolts off, as well as there's bolts hidden down below. Okay, once you're inside the Airstream Basecamp, what you could do is pull the stairs up with the straps, or there's a pulley system that you pull it up and then you just give it a good, and that locks it in place. Then you can unsnap the doors, swing them shut, lock them, and you can still step on this and get out if the doors are partially closed. And that's what it looks like from inside. There's enough room. I'm 5'9". I could stand right here. This is the back of the trailer. It gets higher as you go to the middle. There's a fan in the ceiling, so it runs on 12 volt. Just raise the lid, lock it in place. And then what we're going to do is turn the fan on. Bear with me a moment. There we go. Thermostat. Fan speed. And you can bring the air out, neither, or you got to wait till the fan blade stops. And then you can reverse it and push air in. And then make sure you bring it down when you're done. And push this up and lock it in place. Then you can pull these down and twist, and you can clean this screen off if you needed to. I upgraded this Basecamp so it has a table, dinette table. None of them came with the dinette. This is an Airstream table out of an Airstream Interstate, a 2007 Airstream Interstate. And the table itself slides back and forth on a track, so you could get by here. These are the backrests for the sofa. I don't recommend leaving these in when you're towing. They're just magnetic and stick to the wall. So when you sit down, you'd have some back support. All the original curtains are here. This is called Fire Red interior decor. These unsnap and roll down and just hang down straight. These windows all open. Just pull, twist, open. And once you get it, you can lock it in place with the knob right there. Just make sure before you ever tow it that these are locked. There's some cargo netting here. The gross vehicle weight rating is actually 2750. Unloaded weight is 2288. And if you fill up the 3-gallon tank, it's 28 pounds, and your propane's 5 gallons at 20 pounds. So you can put about an additional 400 pounds of cargo inside this trailer. Has a single burner cooktop. Always either open a vent or a window when using this. Push down. Push the little igniter down. Oops, I gotta plug it in. The igniter plugs into this little 12 volt socket right here. There you go, that's your cooktop. And then you just squeeze this together and lift to clean. Have all the original Kelty storage bins underneath the galley here. Inside here is a remote control for the air conditioning. You have to have the trailer plugged into electricity to use the air conditioning. 20 amp outlet is recommended. I have the stakes for the tent. An accessory for the stereo. Television remote. Radio remote. Another wiring harness for the stereo. The CO2 detector. and the tools to remove the stereo out of the front compartment. So security. Below here is a nice large opening for storage. You can see the propane line that comes up for the cooktop, as well as the propane line that comes up for the heater. This also has a Kelty storage bin up front here. This piece is removable and you could clip it in on the bottom, but if you're loading a large motorcycle in, you just need that extra room. You could remove that. I'll just clip it in for transport. More of the beautiful curtains. Gives you all the privacy you would need at night. And then you could unsnap them and wash them or change them, say if you wanted to change the color. We have another ceiling light switch up front. I added some USB charge ports. There's always a lot of accessories that I bring that need to be charged via USB. Stereo system was upgraded to a West Marine Bluetooth stereo, the WM4000. Let's see if we get some stations. There we go. So for the stereo, it's also Bluetooth, and the password's 1234. And to power it down, you got to hold it in for 5 seconds. There's 2 more speakers up here. This is the beautiful skylight. They did make a shade for this. This did not have the optional shade. There's a ventilation system here. You just push here, push up. You can either have it forward or backwards. That's if you're hauling a motorcycle and there's gasoline fumes. You definitely need to have this open. There's already a vent in the back that you don't need to open that will allow the circulation of air. This is a little storage compartment. We have another one here. And your little sink. The way the faucet works is when you turn it on, there's a little click you hear. That activates the electric inside the water tanks. There's an extra water tank, but there's a water pump, a submersible water pump that's inside this tank right here. Right here we have the electrical outlet where the air conditioning is plugged into. And some more Kelty storage bins. Underneath the trailer on the side that the sink is on, there is a regular garden hose connection. That is the drain for the sink, so you could actually hook that on and hook it right into the campground's drain system for their waste. Pull, twist, push. Gotta unlock this here. And once you get it open, you can lock it in place. Just use your discretion. On a very windy day, probably not a good idea to have them open all the way. Also, I've seen some people on the internet aftermarket make some screens for these. I'm just not sure why there wasn't screens to begin with. There's a pole stored up here. That is the pole once you flip the furniture up that allows it to stay up so you can have a motorcycle in the middle. I added these here. This is so you could hang some gear. I had a GoPro mount that hung from here, but these are all bolted in, ready to go. So you can hang whatever gear you want on there. We have 2 more of the backrests. I also added this reading light, an LED reading light, which also I wired in a USB charge right to. So this light does not have to be on for this USB to work, but I actually hooked up a USB fan right at the head of the bed, and I put it right on top of these stainless steel cup holders that I put in. This is a regular camping mat that you put underneath the tent. Behind here is the actual holders. There's a top and bottom for the table legs that when you want to store them. I would never leave the table up when you tow the trailer. Behind here we have a 12-volt charge port and some more USB. There's a 1 amp and a 2.1 amp. We have an electrical outlet that will work when the trailer is plugged into electricity. A body heater. I have this just fastened in here, so what we're going to do is undo it. Be very, very careful with this heater. The propane line that feeds to it is high pressure. You don't want to melt it and have the propane line sitting in front of the heater. That could be disastrous. You got to keep the heater level, and you got to keep this line far away from it. And if you have the heater on and it tips, it'll automatically shut off. But I melted a little bit of the side of the freezer once, the refrigerator once, because I had it a little bit too close. But what you do is you turn it to pilot, hold it down, you can see right there, it's ignited. Just got to hold it down a little bit longer. You can turn it on to low, and it's ignited. That thing will heat this trailer. I was out here at a 15-degree day. I had it 70 degrees in here. Very humid though, so I had to have a window open for some ventilation. But if the heater was to tip, it automatically shuts right off. Just be careful with this. And you got to fasten it in when you're towing. I'll do that later. This is the strap that holds the table in when you're towing. The refrigerator is strapped in as well. The way the refrigerator works is it's AC or DC, 12 volt or electric. And then I had this on 2 weeks ago. Just turn it on. You can turn it to turbo, which gets cool really fast. And you can also change your temperature setting to just regular refrigerator or beer or to freeze things. And then the power connection is in the back here for 12 volt or electricity. Behind here we have an electrical outlet. We have the kill switch that if I shut this off, it shuts everything off in the trailer. I leave that on all the time because I have the solar charging system, which is active all the time. This is the battery charger below. It's automatic. That's when you're plugged into electricity. The solar is when you're not plugged into electricity. That will charge the battery. In the last year and a half since I put the solar on, the battery has never run down. I've left lights on here all day long. I've left the inverter system on all day long. It does a very good job keeping up. We have a GFCI breaker here for your wet outlets. We have different 15 amp outlet breakers for the battery charger as well as the air conditioning, and we have your main 30 amp breaker. And then these are all the fuses that control your 12 volt items. And then there's extra spots below if you ever wanted to expand and run more wiring. I also added a USB charge port on this side of the trailer, so you can put your cell phone here at night and charge. Another cup holder. And the inverter system, I would never leave this on unnecessarily because it will drain the battery down. But you got to hold this button in for about 5 seconds. Okay, now the inverter has powered up. It shows that we have 14.5 volts. This outlet and this outlet are for the inverter. And I have the television, which is strapped in. But it's on an articulating mount. You can swing it around. And then it has a DVD player built in to the side. And when you turn it on, you could either use the remote control or the buttons on the side or back. Let me just turn it on actually. Yep, stand by. I hit the source button instead of power button. There we go. And this TV is about 1.5 years old, and it's LED slim. You just want to make sure that before you move the trailer that it's strapped in properly. And that would be the strap on the bottom here. You wrap it around the top of the television and hook it in. And that will stay put when you're towing. This is your smoke detector. This is the power cord that comes with it, 30 amp Ringco twist lock, and the adapter on the end so you can plug it into a residential outlet. Added this tow racks here so you could hang it. Also have the quick disconnect for the front propane line for an outside grill. Solar controller, I just leave it to the voltage setting, but it will show you that it's charging currently. The battery's almost full. And it will show you all the different battery settings. If the battery was ever to go completely dead on this trailer, this solar charger will not bring it up fully. You have to actually charge the battery alone. That is the best way to bring it back up. I've never had that happen, but I know with the deep cycle AGM batteries, if you bring them all the way down, it's very hard to get them back up with the battery charger, the onboard battery charger, or the solar charger. There's another 12-volt charge port here. There's a cable connection, so if you go to a campground, you could hook into their cable, and then you could run the cable from here to the television. And then the TV amplifier, this is just a prep. It actually doesn't have the TV antenna on the roof because the solar panel's up there. But very spacious inside. Now I want to show you how to operate this table. Okay, the table just slips onto these two legs. Just give it a wiggle. I'm sorry. There's little buttons you have to press on the bottom. One here. That releases this one. And there's one here. That releases this one. And then you actually have to step on a little black button on the floor, push down on it, and then the legs will twist up. Here's a little button up top. Now once you get the table legs out, just put them in their storage compartment. This is like the Swiss Army knife of RVs. This is one of the most clever designs Airstream has ever come up with. Okay, now to fold up the beds, you want to bring the cushions forward a little bit. Apply pressure on them so they don't slip down. And then there's a little strap. This is not for traveling, this is just for convenience, that holds it up while you're inside the trailer. Then underneath the bed, I have here the Kelty tent. Just had it out recently, inspected it, put it up indoors. But it's in its own little travel sack, and all the legs are right here. And there's actually an instruction manual for it. It's not too difficult, but there's many times you can make a few mistakes and not set it up correct. It actually says Kelty Basecamp on it. But it fits right into the storage bin. I don't recommend putting it anywhere else but in here to protect it. It's got a little handle on it. There's a D-ring here on the floor, there's one up here, and there's two more. This is the sofa base storage option. You can put all your clothes in here. There's also a propane leak detector down on the floor that will sense if you have a propane leak. Sometimes some of your cargo will push up against that and it causes it to go off. This side we're going to do the same thing. Slide the cushions forward, apply pressure on them so they don't slip down, push up, and then you just collapse these little legs. There's a little button on the side. Oh, there goes my cushions. Let me just strap this up real quick. Push down, and this one pushes down. And then the bar that's up top here goes here and here. Applies pressure to keep these up when you're towing. Again, never rely on this strap here when you're towing. It will start pulling the plastic trim apart on the wall. There's two more sofa base storage. These are just some towels. Oh, I do have this screen. Here's the screen for the top, but you do have to put Velcro in all the way around. I didn't like the way it looked, but it is in here if someone wanted to put that up. And then there's another sofa base storage bin here. But plenty of room to actually ride a quad inside or have a motorcycle inside. Okay, now let me show you how it sets up for a bed. Just bring this down, bring the leg back down, hold the cushions. See what happens when they slide behind, they get stuck. And these cushions do fit together like a puzzle, so there's only one way that they'll go and fit square. Okay, that's one side. This then expands, and that will support a couple 100 pounds. Okay, this side as well. There we go. Slide that across. They meet in the middle. There's nothing that locks them in place. And there's your bed surface. Then I have a nice pillow, a sleeping bag, nice pillow top one that I lay down, and it's very comfortable for a night's sleep. But it's good for 2 adults. And this is all sunbrella material. And if you ever needed to clean it, just unzip it. There's foam inside. And the plastic is what they use to wrap around the foam to suck it down so they could slide it in here easily. So you don't want to throw the plastic away. But they are very clean. They could get wet and not get damaged. Alright. Now, where do you put the table? The table actually stores upside down. Alright, and then there's a red strap for the table that I slip behind. And then I just come around and grab it. And then lock it in place here. This is pajama strap. And just get it really snug. I try to get it close to the center here. And that will stay in place while the trailer is being towed. Well, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed the tour of the base camp to see the features and how certain things work. Hope you liked this video. Please comment, share, subscribe. I love it. I'll see you soon.